In this video, you can learn an off-ice jump rotation exercise. Now, this exercise is fantastic whether you're just trying to learn single jumps, maybe you're trying to progress to double jumps, or maybe you're trying to take your double jumps up to triple jumps. This is going to be great if you don't know what the exercise is, or perhaps you know what the exercise is, but you can't quite get the amount of rotation you would like, and you want to take it to the next level. Now, any good coach works with other good coaches because they know that is the way that the student will get the best information possible. So we're heading across the pond to Jono for this one.
So now we're going to take a look at our series of off-ice jumps, and one quick little warning before we get started with these is you want to make sure that you have as much space as possible without many things going on. Unfortunately, I'm working with what I have today because outside it's raining and miserable, but I've tried to make myself as much space as possible, so please make sure you stay safe when performing these jumps off ice. So this is a basic off-ice exercise, rotational exercise, which is going to help you with all jumps. It's something that I advise anyone that's trying to jump on ice to practice as much as possible. There's not enough that you can do with this, because doing this off ice is just everything transfers over to on ice. So it's so useful to practice this off ice, just getting used to the idea of rotation, getting used to the idea of where your balance should be, and trying to build up those muscles, balance and core muscles in order to try and help you, which is going to help you unbelievably on the ice. So this simple technique is starting on 2 feet, nice soft knees, starting in our rotational position, which is left arm in front, right arm behind. Now you're going to jump up in the air, perform a rotation, and land on the floor. This house sounds so unbelievably hollow that I'm shaking the entire neighborhood when I land. To stop that, make sure you have a nice soft knee when you come down. It should be toes the first thing to hit the floor, then melt into your knee when you land in that position. So I perform this rotation by, again, starting off in my rotational position, which is left arm in front, right arm behind. My shoulders are facing slightly over to the right side, my head is facing slightly over to the right side, and my hips are almost facing slightly over to the right side, because we're going to use all three of those things, the arms, hips, and core, to start that rotation. So the right arm is going to be your main driving arm coming up and into the air. Your hips are going to also twist up into the air to help generate some of that rotational speed. And then your shoulders, they're going to help generate, but more than anything, they're going to be the things to keep you in control and keep you balanced over that right side. So the biggest thing you want to avoid when performing this exercise is as you start jumping, it's very easy to kind of get ahead of yourself and want to perform as much rotation before you take off by twisting your shoulders, twisting your hips too much. Don't do it, don't do it. What we want to think about generating the rotation is going up into the air, but then folding into that right side as quickly as possible. It is sort of almost counterintuitive because you want to be rotating to the left, but everything's over on that right side. But using those arms, hips, and shoulders, you're able to generate some real nice rotation. And the fastest rotation is going to be performed by having you in the tightest rotational position, which is right here over that right side. You can even have the arms tucked in here, like Nathan Chen. And you want to have those legs so tight. There's no space in between those legs. Everything attached, those shins attached to each other, those thighs attached to each other, even those toes pointing down and attached to each other. So again, starting in my rotational position, heads to the right, arms and shoulders are to the right. I'm going to use my knees to generate the height, and my shoulders and arms and hips to generate the rotation. And strong landing position. So when you're doing a single rotation of these, you won't need to get too tight, but when you start thinking about doing doubles and triples, then you need to start really thinking about squeezing into that tight position. The best way for your doubles and triples to get into that real tight, fast rotation is the feet are going to stay the same the entire time. They're taking off from 2 feet. You can, again, use the hips to wind up, but the feet will always be side by side with nice bent knees. The more you bend your knees at the beginning, the more height you're going to be able to generate. So really use those powerful legs of yours to get yourself moving up into the air. But the way that we're going to get our fastest rotation is from here. I've talked about this in both the flip and the lutz video, is using those arms. They're gonna drop down as we're like starting to take off, and as our knees raise up, they will be rising up too and folding into your right side. It's kind of like a scissor motion with the arms. So they're gonna drop down and up into the air. So that's gonna be the quickest or the most efficient way to get you into your rotation. If you start keeping your arms out here, there's gonna be so much centrifugal force that it's gonna really be hard for you to pull your arms in as quickly as possible. And again, these jumps, you're talking about half a second in the air. So every single millisecond counts. And you wanna make sure that you're getting into that rotational position as efficiently as possible. So the last thing I want to talk about with this is something that applies to every single jump you perform off ice, which is your landing position. No matter what the takeoff is, your landing position should always be the same. So we've come from rotating, whether you're rotating a single nice and loose, whether you're rotating anything more than that nice and tight, the way you get into your landing position is going to be the same. Your shoulders raise up, but look, pointing over to the right side. This is square, right here, what I would call square. You want to be already in the air, you should be over that right side, shoulders turned in, hips turned in. Because as you come down, especially when you're rotating fast, if you're square and you try to open up, the rotation is just going to keep on turning and you're going to have a terrible time trying to stop that rotation. So in order to stop that rotation, being over that right side, your elbow, lift up over that right side, your knee lifts up, but still over that right side. And then as you check out, still facing that right side with the head to the right, arms to the right, hips to the right, on a nice soft bent knee. So if I perform that single rotation, over to the right side, there. And then I can stop from turning any longer than I should do already, which when you're on the ice and you're performing singles, doubles, and triples with a lot of speed moving on the ice, you're gonna want zero rotation. As soon as you hit the floor, you need to be so quick and strong over to that right side.
Now a huge thank you to Jono for that video. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you want to see me try the rotation exercise, let me know that in the comments below as well. So if you like the videos here, consider supporting us on Patreon. We've got a load more videos there and a great community of skaters all learning together.